The English Couch. Hey everyone, welcome back to The English Couch, your cozy corner for real English conversations. I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo. We're so glad you found your way to the couch today.
Today's topic is something that sounds simple, almost too simple. But if you've ever tried it, you know, it's not simple at all. We're talking about how to think in English.
Yeah, and just hearing that phrase already makes me feel a bit uncomfortable.
Exactly. Because here's the paradox. We live in a world where English is everywhere. It's in our emails, our meetings, our Netflix shows, our phones, even our dreams sometimes. We have more tools than ever. Apps, courses, AI, subtitles, podcasts.
Yet somehow, we still feel stuck.
Yes, that's the conflict. We have more access but less ease, more exposure but less confidence. And for many successful people who are brilliant in their own language, there's this quiet frustration.
That's painfully accurate, because in my native language, I can be funny, sharp, even persuasive. But in English, I feel like a different person, slower, less me.
And that's the real problem, isn't it? It's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about identity. It's about feeling like you're not fully yourself when you speak.
Or even worse, when you think.
Yes, because thinking in English isn't just a skill, it's a shift. It's like moving your mental home from one place to another, and that process can feel unsettling.
You know what's funny? I used to think that once my English got good enough, thinking in English would just happen naturally, like flipping a switch.
But it doesn't work that way.
Not at all. It's more like learning to walk again, but in a different gravity.
Beautifully said. So today, we're going to explore that journey. Not just the techniques, but the inner experience of it. Why thinking in English feels so hard, even when your level is already quite good. Why your brain resists it, and what you can do to make it more natural, more human.
And hopefully, by the end of this, you won't just understand how to think in English, you'll feel a bit more at home doing it.
Now, this is a B1 to B2 level episode, so do not worry if you miss a word or two. Just relax and let the English come to you naturally. Listen for the ideas. Listen for the feeling.
Yes.
And later, we will have our word tour, where we slow everything down and go back through the most useful vocabulary from today, so nothing is lost.
Before we dive in, a question for you. Right now in your head, what language are you thinking in?
Does it always stay in your native language? Or does it shift sometimes? Tell us in the comments. We are genuinely curious.
And if this episode speaks to you, share it with someone who keeps saying, "My English is not good enough." They might just need a different way of seeing it.
Or they will think about it for 3 days and suddenly start thinking in English on the bus, which is honestly a perfect outcome.
Okay, let's begin.
The first idea is simple but powerful. Thinking in English is not a switch you turn on. It's a habit you build.
That already changes how I see it.
Most people imagine there's a moment where suddenly they start thinking in English. But in reality, it's a gradual process. It's messy, inconsistent, and often invisible.
Okay, I have a story about this. A few years ago, I tried to force myself to think in English for a whole day. I woke up and said, "Today, everything in English." And it went terribly.
Tell me more.
By lunchtime, I had a headache. I kept translating in my head, getting stuck, forgetting words, and honestly, I just gave up. I remember thinking, this is not natural. Maybe I'm just not built for this.
That's such a common experience.
Yeah, and it made me avoid trying again for months.
Here's what's happening. Your mind is like a well-worn path in a forest. Your native language is a wide, smooth road. You've walked it thousands of times. Thinking in English is a narrow trail, almost hidden.
So when I tried to switch, I was basically forcing myself into the forest without a path.
Exactly. And your brain resists that, not because you can't do it, but because it's unfamiliar. Habits take repetition, not pressure.
Oof, that hits home.
Instead of forcing a full day, you build moments, small, gentle repetitions, like thinking in English while making coffee or describing what you see on your commute.
So it's less about intensity and more about consistency.
Yes, and patience, because habits grow quietly.
That actually feels relieving.
Good, because the next point builds on this idea of pressure and resistance. Here's the second idea. Translation is not your enemy, but it shouldn't be your permanent home.
That's interesting, because I've always heard, don't translate, just think in English.
That advice is incomplete. Translation is actually a natural stage. It's how your brain connects the new language to what you already know.
That makes sense.
But the problem is when translation becomes automatic, when every thought has to pass through your native language first, it slows you down and creates distance.
Oh, wow, I have the perfect example for this. I was in a meeting once and someone asked me a simple question. I knew the answer immediately, but I couldn't say it.
Why not?
Because in my head, I answered in my native language. Then I tried to translate it into English, but by the time I found the right words, the conversation had already moved on.
That's such a frustrating moment.
It felt like I was always one step behind.
That's because translation is like a bridge. It helps you cross from one side to the other, but you're not meant to live on the bridge.
Yeah, that would be uncomfortable.
Very. The goal is to gradually shorten that bridge, to start forming thoughts directly in English, even if they're simple at first.
So instead of thinking, how do I say this perfectly? I should think, what's the simplest way to express this?
Exactly. Simplicity is your ally here.
That's a bit of a mindset shift.
It is, and it leads us to something deeper, your relationship with imperfection. The third idea might feel uncomfortable. If you wait to think perfectly in English, you'll never think in English.
Ouch, that one hurts.
I know, but it's true. Many learners have a high standard. They want their thoughts to be clear, correct, even elegant.
That's definitely me.
But that standard creates hesitation, and hesitation breaks the flow of thinking.
Okay, here's my confession. I often stop myself mid-thought because I'm not sure if it's grammatically correct, even in my own head.
Even in your thoughts?
Yes, it's like I have an internal editor who never sleeps.
That's exhausting.
It really is.
Let me offer a metaphor. Imagine your mind as a river. When you think freely, the river flows. But perfectionism is like placing rocks in the water, constantly interrupting the flow.
So I'm basically blocking my own thinking.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about perfect sentences, it's about continuous flow. You can refine later, but first, you need movement.
That's such a different way of seeing it.
And it's freeing, because it gives you permission to be messy.
I like that. Messy thinking.
Yes, broken sentences, simple words, even mistakes. That's all part of the process.
Honestly, that makes me feel less afraid to try.
Good, because fear is the next barrier we need to talk about. The fourth idea is deeply human. You won't think freely in English if you don't feel safe doing it.
That's powerful.
Thinking is an intimate act. It's private, vulnerable. And if your inner voice is constantly judged or criticized, it will retreat.
That explains a lot.
Tell me.
I remember trying to think in English while walking home one day, and suddenly I became very aware of myself. Like, what if I sound stupid? What if my thoughts are wrong?
Even though no one could hear you?
Exactly. It was all in my head, but it felt real.
That's because your inner environment matters just as much as your outer one.
Wow.
Think of your mind as a room. If that room feels harsh, critical, or tense, you won't want to stay there long. But if it feels warm, safe, and accepting, you'll relax.
So I need to create a safe space in my own mind.
Yes, and that starts with how you talk to yourself.
I guess my inner voice has been a bit strict.
Many people's are, especially high achievers.
Guilty.
Try this instead. When you struggle to find a word, don't judge it. Just notice it. Be curious, not critical.
That sounds simple, but not easy.
True, but it's transformative. Because when your mind feels safe, your thoughts become more natural.
And that's when thinking in English starts to feel less like a task and more like a part of you.
Exactly. And from here, we can begin to explore how to make that process even more effortless.
I'm ready.
The fifth idea is quietly powerful. You think in the language you surround yourself with.
That sounds obvious, but I feel like there's something deeper there.
There is. Many people try to force thinking in English for a few minutes a day, but then spend the rest of their time immersed in their native language.
Oh, that's me.
It's most people, and the brain simply follows what it hears most often.
That reminds me of something. A few months ago, I binge-watched an English series for like a whole weekend.
We've all been there.
But here's the strange part. On Monday, I noticed my thoughts were slightly different. Not fully in English, but phrases would pop up, like automatic reactions.
That's exactly it.
It felt effortless. I wasn't trying, it just happened.
Because your mind is like a sponge. It absorbs patterns, rhythms, expressions, and over time, those patterns become your default.
So it's less about trying to think and more about feeding the mind.
Yes, think of your brain as a kitchen. If you only stock it with ingredients from your native language, that's what it will cook with.
So I need more English ingredients.
Exactly. Podcasts, shows, conversations, even background noise. The more natural English you hear, the more natural your thoughts become.
That makes it feel less like work and more like lifestyle.
That's the shift. And once your environment starts supporting you, something interesting happens. You begin to notice your thoughts changing without effort.
Which sounds almost magical.
It's not magic, it's exposure. And it leads us to something even more subtle: speed. The sixth idea might surprise you. If you want to think faster in English, you must first allow yourself to think slowly.
That sounds like a contradiction.
It does, but it's deeply true. Many learners rush. They want instant responses, quick reactions, fluent thinking, right now.
That's definitely me in meetings. I feel this pressure to respond quickly or I'll look less competent.
And what happens?
I panic. I either say something very basic or I say nothing at all.
That's a common pattern.
So how does slowing down help?
Let me explain with a metaphor. Imagine you're learning to play the piano. If you try to play fast from the beginning, your fingers get tangled, the notes blur, and you lose control.
Right. It becomes chaos.
But when you slow down, you build accuracy, precision, muscle memory, and over time, speed comes naturally.
So thinking works the same way?
Exactly. When you allow yourself to think slowly in English, choosing simple words, forming basic sentences, you're building mental pathways.
That's interesting, because I usually feel ashamed of being slow.
That's the problem. Slowness isn't weakness, it's construction.
Oof, that hits home again.
And here's the paradox. The more you respect the slow process, the faster you become.
So instead of rushing to sound fluent, I should focus on being clear, even if it takes time.
Yes, clarity first, speed later.
That actually takes a lot of pressure off.
Good, because once the pressure drops, something else can emerge: your emotional connection to the language. The seventh idea is deeply human. You remember and think in what you feel.
That feels true already.
Language isn't just logic, it's emotion. The phrases that stay with you are often the ones connected to a feeling: humor, embarrassment, excitement, even frustration.
I have a story for this. I once made a small joke in English during a team call. Nothing amazing, but people laughed.
That must have felt good.
It did. And you know what's funny? I still remember that exact sentence, word for word.
That's not a coincidence.
But I've forgotten hundreds of perfect sentences I studied from textbooks.
Exactly, because emotion acts like glue. It attaches meaning to language in a way that pure study cannot.
So if I feel something while using English, it becomes more real?
Yes, think of your memory as a wall. Emotion is what nails things to that wall. Without it, everything just slides off.
That's such a vivid image.
So if you want to think in English more naturally, don't just study. Experience. Watch something that makes you laugh. Have a conversation that challenges you. Even make mistakes that embarrass you slightly.
I've had plenty of those.
And those moments are valuable because they create emotional anchors.
That's such a different way of seeing mistakes.
Yes, they're not failures, they're memory makers.
I like that. It makes the whole process feel more alive.
And when language becomes alive, it starts to integrate into who you are. Which brings us to identity. The eighth idea touches something deeper. Thinking in English doesn't mean losing your identity. It means expanding it.
That's something I've struggled with.
Tell me.
Sometimes when I speak or think in English, I feel less expressive, less nuanced, like I'm a simpler version of myself.
That's a very honest observation.
And part of me resists it, because I don't want to lose who I am.
Of course. But here's the shift. You're not replacing your identity. You're adding a new layer to it.
A new layer.
Think of yourself as a house. Your native language is your foundation. Strong, familiar, deeply rooted. English is like building a new room.
So I'm not destroying the house, I'm expanding it.
Exactly. And yes, that new room might feel empty at first. The furniture is simple, the decoration is minimal.
That's exactly how it feels.
But over time, you fill it. with experiences, expressions, humor, personality.
So eventually, I can be fully myself there too.
Yes, but it takes time and permission.
Permission?
Permission to be a different version of yourself for a while. Not less, just evolving.
That's reassuring, because I think I've been comparing my English self to my native self and feeling disappointed.
That comparison is natural, but not helpful.
Yeah, it's like comparing a seed to a tree.
Beautifully said.
I'm learning from you.
And from yourself, which leads us to the final point, trust. The ninth and final idea is this: progress in thinking in English is often invisible, so you have to trust it.
That's the hardest part, isn't it?
It really is. Because we like clear results. We want to feel improvement, measure it, confirm it.
Exactly. I want to know I'm getting better.
But with thinking, the progress is subtle, quiet. You might not notice it day to day.
That's frustrating.
Yes, but let me share something.
Go on.
A friend of mine once told me she realized she was thinking in English only when she tried to stop.
Wait, what?
She said, "I suddenly noticed my thoughts were in English, and when I tried to switch back, it felt strange."
That's amazing.
And that's how it often happens, not as a dramatic moment, but as a quiet shift.
That gives me hope.
Good, because your mind is always adapting, even when you don't see it. Think of it like planting seeds underground.
You don't see anything at first.
Exactly. But beneath the surface, roots are growing, connections are forming, and one day, something breaks through.
So the key is patience?
Patience and trust. Trust that every small effort, every moment of thinking, every exposure, every imperfect sentence is building something.
Even if I can't see it yet.
Especially then.
That's comforting.
Because this journey isn't about forcing a result. It's about allowing a transformation.
And transformations take time.
They do, but they're worth it.
Definitely.
And with that, we've explored the deeper layers of what it really means to think in English. Not just as a skill, but as an experience.
And honestly, I already feel different about it.
That's the beginning. Now it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show, the word tour.
I love this part. It's like we slow everything down and really feel the language.
Exactly. These aren't just words, they're experiences. Let's explore 10 expressions we used earlier. I love this phrase, well-worn path. It feels familiar, comfortable, almost automatic.
Yeah, it gives me the image of a road you've walked so many times, you don't even think anymore.
Exactly. In business, you might say, our company followed a well-worn path in the market, meaning it wasn't innovative.
And personally, I always react the same way. It's a well-worn path for me. It feels a bit predictable, right?
Yes, and slightly limiting. It's warm, but also a little stuck.
This one hits differently. Crutch. It feels necessary, but also weak.
That's a good way to describe it. A crutch helps you walk, but you don't want to rely on it forever.
In business, we used discounts as a crutch to boost sales.
And personally, I use my phone as a crutch when I feel awkward. There's a subtle honesty in this word.
Yeah, it admits dependency.
Messy thinking feels freeing to me.
Same. It's like giving yourself permission to not be perfect.
In business, let's allow some messy thinking before we finalize the strategy.
And personally, my journal is just messy thinking, no structure, no rules.
It feels creative, alive, a little chaotic, but in a good way.
Yeah, like something real is happening. This one feels very personal. Inner voice.
It's intimate. It's how you speak to yourself when no one is listening.
In business, you have to manage your inner voice before a big presentation.
And personally, my inner voice can be quite critical sometimes.
It carries emotion, tone, even personality.
Yes, and shaping it changes everything. Default is such a modern word.
Yeah, it feels automatic, like a setting you didn't choose consciously.
In business, English became the default language of the company.
And personally, I default to silence when I'm nervous.
It suggests habit, something below awareness.
Which means it can be changed. I love this one. Muscle memory.
It's physical, even though we're talking about the mind.
In business, with practice, presentations become muscle memory.
And personally, driving that route is pure muscle memory for me.
It feels effortless, like your body or mind just knows.
Exactly. That's the goal with thinking in English. Anchor is such a powerful metaphor.
Yeah, it feels stable, grounding.
In business, we need a strong idea to anchor this campaign.
And personally, that memory really anchors me when I feel lost.
It gives a sense of security.
Like something you can hold on to. This word feels sophisticated, nuanced.
It means something has depth, subtle differences, layers.
In business, it's a nuanced negotiation, not just yes or no.
And personally, her perspective is very nuanced.
It feels intelligent, but also human.
Yes, because real life is rarely simple. Evolving feels gentle, ongoing.
Not a big change, but a continuous one.
In business, our strategy is constantly evolving.
And personally, I feel like I'm evolving as a person.
There's patience in this word.
Yeah, it respects the process. This one feels big. Transformation.
It does. It suggests deep, meaningful change.
In business, the company went through a digital transformation.
And personally, learning English has been a transformation for me.
It's not just improvement, it's becoming something new.
Exactly. And that's what this journey really is. So, here we are.
Yeah, this feels like one of those conversations that stays with you.
Because in the end, thinking in English isn't just about language.
It's about awareness.
Yes, it's about noticing your habits, your inner voice, your fears, and gently reshaping them.
It's not, how do I do this perfectly?
It's, how do I live more consciously with this process?
That's such a shift.
Because when you approach it that way, everything softens, the pressure fades, and what's left is curiosity.
And patience.
And even enjoyment.
That's a word I didn't expect to feel about this.
But it's possible. When you stop fighting the process, you start flowing with it.
Like that river you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And maybe the goal isn't to control the river, but to learn how to move with it.
That's beautiful.
So before we go, we want to leave you with a question.
Something to sit with.
When you think about your journey with English, not just as a skill, but as part of your life,
What kind of inner environment are you creating for yourself?
is it critical, rushed, demanding?
Or is it patient, supportive, open,
Because that environment shapes everything.
including who you become in this language?
And that's something worth reflecting on.
Definitely.
This is Mia.
And this is Leo.
You've been listening to The English Couch.
See you in our cozy corner next time.
Bye!
Bye!